let me start with my talk. I'm an educator, a tech educator, and people say that AI is going to replace me. But I think there's a partnership. Let me tell you why. And to understand this, let's go back to 15th of August, 2001. I was in my 6th grade, and there were a lot of speeches were happening of independence by the school management, by principal, and then one of my classroom friend went on stage, and he was speaking for a few minutes. I don't care what I was talking about. What I was thinking is, how can a person of my age, 11 years, going on stage and talking about something for 15, 20 minutes? Because I had this. Yeah. I had a fear of stage. And of course, it's common, I think, with most of us. And it continued till I went to college. So I used to avoid stages. Every time someone says, go on stage and say something, I would say, I would prefer dying. Right? So if you keep a gun on my head and say, speak on stage, I will say, shoot. Yeah, so that's my journey till college. In my second year, when I was doing my graduation, which is BSc in IT, I was fallen sick for 2 weeks. My West was 32 before that, and after that, I was 28. I went back to college after 2 weeks, and then I got to know that there's a presentations going on for a math subject. So basically, you have to pick up a topic and present on stage for 10 minutes. And I went at the last. All the presentations done, all the topic covered, and now it's my turn. I had a choice of not doing it because I have a medical certificate, but then the vice principal, who was also the maths teacher, he has a very bad record. He can fail any person at any point. I don't want that risk. So what I did, I went home. I thought I will give a presentation, no matter what. I will go on stage and talk about something. But then I realized, why will someone listen to me on the same topic which everyone talked about? Then again, I did some research. And since I was doing an IT course, I knew programming, C language, C++, I was able to relate C language with maths. And I've given this speech or the presentation for 10 minutes, and voila! Everyone was amazed because of that one linking between programming and maths, and I thought, I have a superpower. That's the way I got my superpower. And then I thought, I can teach. I can make people excited about something. And I believe that teaching is more about excitement, it's more about curiosity than actual teaching. I started loving presentations. I went on stage, even if teachers are not calling me. I talked to my teachers, please, in my junior, so that I was in my second year, let me go to first year and talk about something. I will improve my presentation. That's how it all started. Then I joined an IT company as a developer. And who doesn't love development, right? We're doing BTech, of course. After that, we'll do development. But then after a few years, I wanted to try out teaching once again. And I became a freelancer trainer. And I was giving trainings to different companies. And in one company, basically, you'll be having multiple trainings. Example, let me talk about Accenture. That was my first client. And they hired around 900 candidates in 1 year because they were working with Hotstar for some streaming service. I'm talking about 2014-15. And then I was responsible to handle few batches. At one point, we have multiple trainings going on at the same time. The drawback is all the trainers has to talk about the same thing. Same PPT, same examples, and same style of teaching. And then I realized I'm a teacher. And these companies are limiting my power of teaching. What if I want to talk about something extra? And that was troubling me. Also, one of my senior colleagues, he mentioned that teaching is an art. And I was thinking I'm an artist. Right? And then I thought, if I'm an artist, what does it really mean? I did some research. That's my part-time hobby now, doing research. And then I came to know that, again, as I mentioned, teaching is not about giving all the knowledge. It's more about motivating the participants. What if I want to talk about AI today? Of course, I can't talk about AI for 15 minutes, but I will give you a motivation on AI. You will go home and research. Now I'm a good teacher, right? I'm motivating you. So that's what I used to think. Again, I read one more quote, which is this: good teaching is 1/4 of preparation and 3/4 of theater. Of course, you have to prepare well as a teacher. You can't simply go on stage and blah anything the way I'm doing. But you have to be prepared. And when you go on stage, you have to perform. Teachers are also performers. They perform on stage so that you can be motivated. Right? That's what I was doing. I was enjoying my corporate journey. But again, that one instance where multiple classrooms, multiple trainers, they have to teach the same thing, no extra. And that's when I realized it's time to go beyond corporate training. And that's when I started. From boardroom, I started doing broadcasting. I uploaded my first video on YouTube. It was failed. In fact, I uploaded few videos, no response. Of course, everyone knows YouTube is fun, okay? When you upload videos, it's fun because no one knows you. And that's a good thing. You can do whatever you want. But also the problem is no one knows you, no one's watching your video. What's the motivation? Then I've stopped uploading videos, but one day I got a comment that because of this video I got a job. Then I got to know, oh, it's working. Even if it's helping one or two, I will start doing it. And that's how I started my YouTube journey. But there's one little problem with YouTube. See, in a classroom environment, when you have the audience like this, as a trainer, I have some time to make an impact. Because you don't have a choice, you can't go out. So I will take maybe 15, 20 minutes to make an impact. What about YouTube? I have to make an impact in few seconds. Otherwise, what you will do? Next video. Nowadays, because of Instagram, we are so, we want everything in 5 seconds. I have to make an impact in 5-10 seconds, otherwise what you will do? Swipe up, right? We all do that. So there's a big difference between being on YouTube and being a trainer, because as a trainer, you have some time to make an impact. Through my experiences, I have learned how do you make an impact on stage or on camera. I was trying to do all. And then one of my, again, colleagues, I don't know why I have so many colleagues who's helping me, but one of the colleagues gave me this pyramid. Again, this is not a new thing. It's there from centuries, the learning pyramid. And what it says is, when you talk about retaining the information, when you listen to a lecture, you retain only 5%. I hope you will remember this speech more than 5%, because I'm doing a lecture now. Once you go out for a lunch, the moment you see a paneer there, that's gone. Yeah? So lecture, you can only return 5%. But what if you read? That's where it goes up. You say, okay, now I can retain 10%. It's better if you can give the speeches to everyone to read. You can retain more. Then we have a next stage, which is audio-visual. What if I can show you something with the help of audios and videos? You can retain it to 20%. Let's go next stage. Demonstration. Now, this is what I do on YouTube. When I teach programming, when I teach, let's say, Java, Python, or whatever technology it is, I'm doing a demo there. Still, how much you can retain? 30%. So after spending so much of time reading from all these platforms, what you retain is 30%. Is it of any use? Of course not. Let's go for next stage, which is your discussion. And I think this is very important. When you learn something, discuss with someone, maybe your friend, maybe your family, talk to your parents and then tell them about a topic. They're not interested, but at least they're your parent, they don't have a choice. Okay, so you can have a discussion on that. It will help you retain 50%. Okay, what should be the next stage? Any guess? Practice, right? So you have to practice by doing. Every time you learn something, practice it. It's very, very important. If by watching something, if you can learn something, maybe I'm a better cricketer than Virat Kohli. I do more hard work than Virat Kohli. I watch every match. Can I be a better batsman? Of course not. You have to practice. So next time when you're watching my video, it's of no use. You have to practice. Next, which I do, which is teach others. You know why I was able to learn multiple technologies, multiple things, is because I learn and I teach. I don't have to wait for the corporate training. Example, let's say I have mastered, okay, wrong word. Everyone is a master nowadays. Let's say if I want to say I'm good with blockchain, how do I know? If I can teach it, that means I know something about blockchain, right? So I can retain more with that, teach others. But I'm not suggesting every one of you who are learning new technology to teach, but at least you can do the last part, which is practice by doing. And this has changed the way I train nowadays. As a trainer, my mindset has changed. Instead of teaching everything, what if you can promote them, or you can convince them that you can practice certain things? I will give them the roadmap. Learn this, learn this, learn this, practice this way, and you can go ahead. And that part of way is called, okay, first of all, we can divide this into two parts. We got active learning and passive learning. So instead of focusing on the passive learning, focus on the active learning. Cool? Of course, as a trainer, I believe more in the first part, which is the 5%, or I will go for 30%. But if I am a trainer and thinking about a student perspective, I would motivate you to go for the last part, which is 75%. So the new way of learning things is learn by doing. Next time, don't get into that tutorial hell. I will learn Java, I will learn data structures. I'm sure you know what to do if you want to get a job, right? Learn a programming language, learn DSA, die inside that DSA, and get a job, and then struggle again. But don't do that. Next time when you want to learn something, learn by doing. Without practice, don't do anything. Making sense? But now things have been changing. Okay, so let's say if I tell you, if you want to learn a new language, anyone want to learn a new language here? Okay, which one? Any programming language or technology? Kotlin? Which one? Golang. Okay, so there are a lot of fun languages coming up. One of them is Rust. Yeah. Have you seen that book, Let Us See? Gen Z. So in our generation, we used to have C language. And one of the best books is from Yashwant Kanetkar, Let Us See. Then we got Let Us C++. Then he wrote a book on Java, Let Us Java. I'm expecting he will write a book on Rust. Let Us Rust. Anyway, jokes apart, that was a joke. You know, all the talks are actually impacting my speech now. Anyway, if you want to learn something now, whatever language you mention, whatever technology you mention, simple steps. First, understand the basics, and you know from where to learn. Right? Okay, I'm not promoting my channel, but you just go to Google, understand the basics. Maybe even Wikipedia works. If you want to understand, let's say, what is blockchain, go to Wikipedia, search what is blockchain, understand the basic. Next step, you have to create a demo, because every technology has some demo with it. They have some sample resources, try it out. Again, don't watch any video and don't go to mentors at this point. Just understand the basics. Next, if you really want to implement it, think about a problem. Create your own problems. Not in real life. I'm talking about learning technologies. And then try to solve it. And while you're doing it, you will get stuck. In programming world, we have this word called debugging. Right? We all love it. Do we? Acha, what is debugging, by the way? What is debugging? Bit louder. Yeah, removing bugs, right? So if debugging is removing bugs, what is coding? Adding bugs. So every line which you write is a potential bug, right? And that bug will give you problems. It will give you errors. And who will solve it? Mentors. So you will go back to the mentors by saying, hey, this is not working, that is not working, please help me. Mentors will say, okay, I'm there. Maybe by doing a Shah Rukh Khan pose, main hu na, but mentors will help you. Also, we have this one of the famous website called Stack Overflow. It has all the solutions, right? But there's a problem here. Mentors cannot help you 24/7. They are humans. They have a life, I hope. Then Stack Overflow will not give you customized answer. It will give you the answers which is there by the other developers, but not something which you want. And that's where we can use certain tools. And nowadays, thanks to Sam, thanks to Elon, okay, looks like all my friends, but they're not. Thanks to all these people, they created a tool, an AI tool which we all love. Nowadays, we don't write letters by ourselves. We ask ChatGPT to write a letter for us. And we copy it and we send a mail. We don't even change the title and something, right? Which says certainly, but that's not the point. We use ChatGPT for everything, for letter writing, for essays, and now for coding also. You don't ask help from mentors. If you get stuck somewhere, what you do? Search. There was a time when people used to come to my video for solving a problem. Now, if they get stuck somewhere, let's open ChatGPT, mention the problem, ChatGPT will give you the answer. Now we can take this a step forward. There's something called Google Copilot. I don't know, not Google Copilot. You know, Google is such a big company. Every time we think about something, Google comes up. GitHub Copilot. Heard about GitHub Copilot? We have AWS Code Whisperer. We got GitHub Copilot. What they do is, they help you with the coding part. Let me show you a demo. So this is a code which you can see on the left-hand side. I'm sure no one will understand because that's a Java Spring Security I've just learned recently. So if you want to understand this number of lines here, which is this, so I can simply select them, and that's my Copilot. I can paste the code, and I can say, explain. And it will explain the entire code. This is AI. These are the things which you first used to go to your mentors to ask help for. Can you please explain these 3 lines? Now you don't have to. You can directly go to AI, and AI will give it to you. Yeah? Of course, it's not perfect yet, but in next 2 to 3 years, it will be more than perfect. But now question arises, no, don't show. Good, yeah. So the question arises, good, because I can see here, doesn't matter. Where was I? Yeah, I mentioned, right? The question arises, will AI replace me as a trainer? And the answer is no. AI might replace developers, but not all. If you have a team of 10, now you need a team of 5 or 6, because remaining work will be done by AI. Trainers, they are different. Yes, teaching assistants can be replaced by AI. But trainers, they are different is because we don't teach. Remember, I talked about something? Teaching is an art. A good teaching is more about motivating the participants. It's more about having that personal connect, which you can never get from AI, at least for next 2 days, few years, right? See, AI is moving so fast, I'm not sure how fast it will be, but at this point, AI cannot replace us because we are humans and we understand the real touch. Just by saying that, I'm not saying don't use AI. You have to use AI. Even trainers, we have to use AI to help our students better. So AI is just a tool, not a replacement. Thank you.